Ahoy and welcome! In this series I am doing a deep dive in certain heritage ship cosmetics that are available for Sea of Thieves. Aside from just looking beautiful, quite a few of them are inspired by past rare video games. In this video we will have a look at the Elemental Power set, which is based on Cameo Elements of Power for the Xbox 360. Also, don't forget to subscribe, it really helps. So let's have a look at the ship and all its references, but as always let's take a look into the franchise first. Cameo Elements of Power had a rough time finding the console to be released on, something that is even referenced in the game. Its very early work was done on Nintendo 64 hardware, and later the game was planned for the Nintendo GameCube. Some gameplay of this version was even released. In this build, the game centered around catching and evolving different monsters to overcome various challenges. In 2002, Microsoft bought Rare and development shifted towards the original Xbox. With this shift, the idea of training and catching monsters faded away, and the game began focusing more on the different abilities Cameo could use while being transformed. Still, some early ideas can still be found in the released game, like the baby design whenever Cameo gains a new monster, which is a little bit weird since you never play as these babies. It would be if you hatched a Togepi in Pokemon, but then it immediately evolved into Togetic without training it or giving it love. Still, they look cute, so yeah, I guess there's that. The game finally released in 2005 for the Xbox 360, making it a launch title for that console. Back then, both the graphics and the sheer amount of enemies and particle effects was really impressive. The story is pretty simple. Cameo, an elf, inherits the Element of Power, a relic which allows her to transform into powerful elemental warriors. However, Cameo is not the rightful heir to these powers. Her sister, Callis, is. And obviously, she is not that happy about it. Callis decides to take revenge on her family by releasing the Troll King Thorn from his stony prison. The trolls then kidnap the various royal family members, and it is up to Cameo to rescue them and defeat the Troll King. So yeah, pretty standard video game fare, but it does have some deeper lore for those who look for it. And fun fact, a lot of the story and dialogue was written by Chris Alcock, who we also know for writing the Athena's Fortune novel. So yeah, that's pretty cool. The game plays like an action-adventure game, and while playing it I'm always reminded of other video games. The design of the trolls reminds me of enemies from Conquer, and the Mystic character reminds me of this old hag from Star Fox Adventures. We have a tree boss fight that is similar to the one in Kirby, and these enemies are like reskins of Pokies from Mario. So yeah, maybe I'm the only one that sees this, but my mind often wanders to other video games whenever I'm playing Cameo. A sequel was at one time in development and would be a more darker and more serious game. Rare even released some artwork and early gameplay footage, which is always great to look at and wonder. Some of it really does look great, and we can even see a pirate ship in some of the designs. And even though I feel there's a lot of potential in this franchise, I am not that sad we only saw one entry. While I certainly enjoyed playing and even replaying this game, the typical Rare quality is missing a bit. There are also a bunch of other Rare franchises that I rather see sequels to. Still, if this gameplay seems interesting to you, I'm happy to announce this game is both on Game Pass and Rare Replay. It also looks even better on Xbox One and Series X, so if you're interested in playing the best version of this game, you can. So with this background information behind us, let us now have a look at the ship set. Instead of going for a combined look of all the races and elements, this set mainly adopts the elven style. With the addition of leaves, flowers, vines and glowing orbs, the entire ship seems to come straight out of the Enchanted Kingdom. It is also the ship with the most glow-in-the-dark effects, and this can look pretty awesome when you are sailing during the night. The hull is adorned with thorny vines and is obviously inspired by the design of the plant elementals like pummeleweed and snare. The description reads, "This beautiful hull cuts through the waves as if imbued with an elemental spirit of the deep blue." This is a reference to Deep Blue, a water elemental and the only warrior able to go into and dive underwater. The capstan continues the plant theme and even has some thorny buds at the end of its handles. These buds are again inspired by pummeleweed, who uses these buds as boxing gloves to fight off his enemies. The capstan also features an orb that glows in the dark. The text reads, "Keep your ship anchored fast and true with a capstan that seems to master the elements." And mastering the elements is obviously something Cameo needs to do before confronting the final boss. The wheel features a similar bud for its middle peg and also has this glowy orb in the center. The description reads, "May this wheel always steer you to enchanted places and away from the Badlands." This is a reference to both the Enchanted Kingdom and the Badlands, the former being the magical kingdom of various races and the latter being the area below the Enchanted Kingdom. The Badlands are considered unsafe but also connect the different areas together, kinda like Hyrule Field in Zelda. I mean, you even ride a horse in this area, so yeah. The cannons have this awesome flower design and feature a crest on the sides. I'm pretty sure this crest is inspired by the elven architecture that we find in the Enchanted Kingdom, even though I wasn't able to find the exact symbol. However, this part of the cannon is obviously inspired by the game's logo. The text reads, "Booming like dragon fire, these cannons could blast even the trolls of legends to ash." This is obviously a reference to the main enemies, the trolls, but also to Ash, the fire warrior, a dragon that spews fire and launches fireballs. So yeah, use some fire bombs for some extra flavor. With nice cannons should come nice flares, so let's have a look at them. The sails kinda remind me, again, of The Legend of Zelda, and to be honest, I had a hard time finding this exact symbol in the game. It is most likely made to fit with the thorny theme of the ship, but similar symbols can be found in the game, like a tattoo on Cameo's left leg, but also on her pouch. It is also a symbol for runes, you know, the currency of the game, or it might be this part of the logo, or even a reference to this old energy bar from the original Xbox version. And the symbol can even be found on furniture and architecture all over the game. And one of my subscribers even pointed to this symbol being on these plant-like creatures. So yeah, great find, but also a bit troublesome to decipher the exact reference the designer was going for. The description reads, "These sails hint at the myth of a flying princess who fought an evil troll. It is only a fairy tale?" Obviously, the flying princess is Cameo, and the evil troll is the protagonist Thorn. But the wording of fairy tale is interesting since Cameo used to be described as a fairy in the earlier builds of the game. Microsoft believed their audience would not like to play as a fairy, and her race became a race of elves instead. So whenever someone tells you you have fairy wings on your sails, you can convince them they are actually elven wings instead. The collector's sails feature the same symbols, only this time they also glow in the dark, which makes this 10 times better, of course. The description reads, "Tales are told of an exotic royal family who lived in a beautiful realm, as vivid as these sails." Another reference to the Enchanted Kingdom and Cameo's kidnapped family. The flag reminds me again of the Plant Warriors, and its description reads, "Inspired by the tale of a fearless heroine and the element of power." It's just a story, right? Pretty straightforward, but I do want to note that you select your save file by using a book called The Whatnot. This book also keeps track of your adventures, kinda like a storybook, so to say. The regular figurehead is carved into Cameo's likeness. She is also holding an orb, and this is a reference to the original box art. And to be honest, I like this design better than her design in her original game. The text reads, "This proud figurehead depicts a princess from an old folk story who wielded magical powers." And yeah, I believe this description doesn't need any further explanation. And I save my favorite piece for last. The collector's figurehead adds glowing wings and a glowing orb to an already amazing figurehead. Not only is the orb glow in the dark, but it also has some really nice particle effects swirling around it. Sea of Thieves has some great effects like this, and this is also yet another great example. The description reads, "A figurehead so striking you could imagine it taking life as a shape-shifting heroine of legend." And just like before, this description doesn't need any further explanation. So that's it for this deep dive. I hope it was fun to watch while also being informative. A thumbs up is always appreciated. And also massive thanks to Frog Rambo who actually put these cosmetics on, since I don't have the set. So let me know if I missed anything, because that is a possibility, and also let me know how you feel about this ship in the comments. Is it one of your favorites, or do you like one of the others better? And also, how do you feel about Cameo? So yeah, that's it. I wish you happy sailings, whether it be on an overpriced expensive ship set or not. See you in the next video and take care.
What a bunch of morons.